You don't belong here. Mrs. Park's voice sliced through the wedding hall like a knife. Sarah froze, her champagne glass trembling in her hand. 200 pairs of eyes turned toward her. The traditional Korean wedding music stopped. Her best friend's mother had just announced to everyone that the American girl was an unwelcome guest. I was invited, Sarah stammered, her face burning red. Invited? Mrs. Park laughed coldly. My daughter felt sorry for you. That's not the same thing. Sarah's heart shattered. She'd flown 8,000 miles from Seattle to Seoul for this moment. She'd spent months learning Korean customs. She'd carefully chosen a respectful hanbok. And now this. She's embarrassing us, someone whispered in Korean. Foreigners always cause problems, another guest muttered. Sarah understood every word. They didn't know she'd been studying Korean for 2 years. She wanted to disappear. She wanted to cry, but something inside her refused to break. She lifted her chin, set down her glass, and walked out of that wedding hall with whatever dignity she had left. 3 years later, Miss Chen, your car is ready. The assistant bowed deeply. Sarah adjusted her designer sunglasses and smiled. Miss Chen. That was her name now. Sarah Chen, the youngest creative director at JK Fashion House, one of Korea's biggest luxury brands. Thank you, Min-ji, she replied in perfect Korean. The black Mercedes pulled up to the towering glass building. Sarah had worked 3 brutal years to get here. 18-hour days, weekend meetings, learning everything about Korean business culture. She transformed herself from a humiliated wedding guest into someone nobody could ignore. Her phone buzzed. An email from the CEO. Sarah, we need you to design the wedding collection for the Park family merger. This is our biggest contract this year. Don't disappoint me. Sarah's blood ran cold. Park family? No. It couldn't be. She opened the attached file. Her hands shook as she scrolled through the details. Client, Park Min-jun, CEO of Park Electronics. Bride, Kim Yuna, daughter of Kim Corporation chairman. Wedding planner, Mrs. Park Sun-hee. Mrs. Park, the same woman who'd humiliated her. If you're already hooked by this revenge story, hit that subscribe button. You won't believe what Sarah does next, asterisk asterisk. Sarah's mind raced. This was impossible. The universe was giving her a golden opportunity wrapped in the most painful memories. Min-ji, Sarah called her assistant. Get me everything on the Park Electronics wedding. Everything. 2 hours later, Sarah sat in her office surrounded by files. Park Min-jun was Mrs. Park's son. The wedding was in 4 months. Budget, unlimited. Expectations, perfection. The bride wanted traditional elegance mixed with modern luxury. Sarah's phone rang. Her boss. Sarah, I'm sending you to meet the Park family tomorrow. They specifically requested our top designer. Make us proud. Yes, sir, Sarah replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. That night, Sarah stood in front of her mirror. She barely recognized herself anymore. The awkward girl who'd been humiliated was gone. In her place stood a confident woman who'd conquered Seoul's brutal fashion industry. They wanted to break me, she whispered to her reflection. They have no idea what they created. The next day, the Park family mansion was even more intimidating than Sarah remembered. Gold gates, marble fountains, security guards everywhere. Miss Chen from JK Fashion House, the butler announced. Sarah walked into the enormous living room. Her heart pounded. There sat Mrs. Park on a velvet sofa, older but still radiating that same cold superiority. You're the famous Sarah Chen? Mrs. Park asked, looking her up and down. You're so young. Sarah bowed politely. Thank you for this opportunity, Mrs. Park. No recognition. None. Mrs. Park didn't remember her at all. My son's wedding must be perfect, Mrs. Park declared. The bride is from the Kim family. This merger will make us the most powerful business dynasty in Korea. We need designs that show our status. I understand completely, Sarah said smoothly. Good. The bride will arrive shortly. You'll meet her and get started. Sarah's mind was spinning. Should she reveal who she was? Should she sabotage everything? No. She had a better plan. A much better plan. The door opened. A beautiful woman in an expensive dress entered. Kim Yuna, the bride. Hello. You must be the designer. Yuna smiled warmly. I've heard amazing things about your work. Sarah liked her immediately. Yuna seemed genuine, kind, nothing like Mrs. Park. It's wonderful to meet you, Sarah replied. Tell me about your vision. As Yuna described her dream wedding, Sarah took notes. Traditional Korean elements, modern touches, colors that honored both families. She wanted something meaningful, not just expensive. I love that you're actually listening, Yuna said softly. Other designers just wanted to show off. You care about what I want. Mrs. Park interrupted. The wedding dress must cost at least 50 million won. Everyone needs to see our wealth. Mother Park, Yuna said gently. I want something beautiful, not just expensive. Nonsense. This wedding represents two corporate empires. Sarah watched the tension rise. She saw something in Yuna's eyes. Sadness. Pressure? This bride was trapped in the same world that had once crushed Sarah. Asterisk, don't go anywhere. The revenge is about to get so much sweeter. Comment below what you think Sarah should do, asterisk. The design process begins. Mrs. Park, I promise the designs will reflect the importance of this union, Sarah said diplomatically. But they'll also celebrate the bride's personal story. That's what makes weddings truly memorable. Mrs. Park studied her suspiciously. Fine, but I approve of everything. Every button, every thread. Of course, Sarah bowed. Over the next 2 weeks, Sarah met with Yuna 5 times. Each meeting revealed more about the bride's situation. Yuna didn't love Min-jun. It was an arranged marriage. Her father had forced this engagement to save his failing company. I feel like a business transaction, Yuna confessed during their 4th meeting. Nobody asked what I wanted. Sarah's heart ached. She knew that feeling. Being powerless, being dismissed, being treated like you didn't matter. Your wedding dress should tell your story, Sarah said firmly. Not theirs. Yours. Yuna's eyes filled with tears. You're the first person who said that. Sarah made a decision right then. Her revenge wouldn't be about humiliating Mrs. Park. It would be about something bigger. Something that would shake this entire family. But first, she needed more information. Tell me about Min-jun, Sarah asked carefully. What's he like? Yuna hesitated. He's polite, distant. We barely talk. He's always working. I don't think he wants this marriage either, but he won't disappoint his mother. Interesting. Very interesting. Sarah dove into her designs with renewed purpose. She created 3 concepts. The first was exactly what Mrs. Park wanted, flashy, expensive, traditional. The second was what Yuna dreamed of, elegant, meaningful, personal. The third was her masterpiece, a design that would expose everything. The big presentation. The Park family conference room was packed. Mrs. Park sat at the head of a table. Min-jun was there, handsome but tired-looking. Yuna sat quietly, hands folded. The Kim family patriarch attended via video call. Sarah's boss was sweating nervously. Present your designs, Miss Chen, Mrs. Park commanded. Sarah connected her laptop to the projector. I've created 3 options. Each tells a different story about this union. The first design appeared on screen. Gasps filled the room. This dress costs 70 million won, Sarah explained. Pure silk from Italy, hand-embroidered with gold thread, 40 pounds of crystals. It screams wealth and power. Mrs. Park's eyes gleamed. Yes, this is perfect. Wait, Sarah continued. Let me show you the second option. The next design was softer, more romantic. Traditional Korean elements blended with modern elegance. Delicate, beautiful, personal. Yuna leaned forward, her eyes shining. Oh, that's too simple. Mrs. Park interrupted. This is a merger wedding, not a love story. Actually, Min-jun spoke for the first time. I think it's beautiful. Yuna, what do you think? Everyone turned to look at him. He'd never asked Yuna's opinion before. Yuna blushed. I love it. Something shifted in the room. Sarah saw it immediately. These 2 people had never actually talked to each other. They were strangers being forced together. Drop a like if you're loving this twist. Sarah's revenge is getting complicated. Asterisk asterisk. Mrs. Park slammed her hand on the table. We'll take the first design, the expensive one. That's final. Before you decide, Sarah said calmly. There's a third option. May I show you? Make it quick. Mrs. Park snapped. Sarah pulled up the final design. The room went completely silent. This dress was different from anything they'd seen. It combined Korean tradition with modern rebellion. Elegant but powerful. The design featured two phoenixes, one breaking free from golden chains, the other choosing to fly alongside it freely. This design, Sarah said quietly, tells the truth about marriage. It's not about chains or obligations. It's about two people choosing each other. Freedom within commitment. Partnership, not ownership. Yuna stood up, trembling. That's exactly what marriage should be. Mrs. Park's face turned red. Absolutely not. This is inappropriate. Marriage is about duty, family honor, business sense. Is it? Minjun stood as well. Mother, can we talk privately? Sit down. Mrs. Park hissed. No. Minjun's voice was firm. I'm 32 years old. I've run our company for 5 years. I've done everything you've asked. But this ends now. The room exploded. How dare you speak to me like this? Mrs. Park shouted. How dare you plan my entire life without asking what I want? Minjun shot back. Sarah watched, amazed. Her designs had triggered something she never expected. Yuna turned to her father on the video screen. Papa, I can't do this. I won't marry someone I don't know to save your company. I'm sorry. Yuna, her father gasped. I'll help your company another way, Yuna continued, tears streaming down her face. But not like this. Not by selling myself. Mrs. Park pointed at Sarah. This is your fault. Your ridiculous designs have poisoned their minds. Sarah stood tall. Mrs. Park, do you remember me? Everyone froze. Remember you? Mrs. Park squinted. Why would I remember a designer? 3 years ago, you humiliated me at your daughter's wedding, Sarah said, her voice steady. You told me I didn't belong. You made 200 people laugh at me. You broke my heart that day. Mrs. Park's face went pale. That was you. Yes, that awkward American girl who you thought was nothing. I came back to Seoul. I worked until my hands bled. I learned your language, your culture, your business world. I became someone you had to respect. Comment below what Mrs. Park should do. Should she apologize? Asterisk, asterisk. Sarah continued, her voice rising with emotion. I came here planning revenge. I wanted to humiliate you the way you humiliated me. But you know what I discovered? Your son and his bride are trapped just like I was. Trapped by expectations, by cruelty, by people who think money and status matter more than human dignity. Minjun stared at her. You designed that third dress for us. I designed it for everyone who's ever been told they don't matter, Sarah said. For everyone who's been forced into a box they don't fit. For everyone who's been humiliated and dismissed. The room explodes with tension. Mrs. Park's hands shook with rage. Get out. You're fired. I'll make sure you never work in Seoul again. Actually, you can't fire her, Sarah's boss spoke up nervously. She has a contract with JK Fashion House, not with you. And Mrs. Park, if you cancel this contract, you'll owe us a penalty of 200 million won. Mrs. Park's mouth opened and closed like a fish. But that's not the point. Yuna stepped forward. Miss Chen is right. We've all been living in cages. My father arranged this marriage without asking if I wanted it. Mother Park treated Minjun like a chess piece. And we just accepted it because that's what good children do. Yuna, please sit down. Her father's voice came through the video call. You're being emotional. I'm being honest. Yuna shouted. For the first time in my life, I'm being honest. I don't love Minjun. I don't even know him. Minjun looked at her, something breaking open in his expression. I don't know you either. And that's insane. We were going to spend our lives together without ever having a real conversation. This is ridiculous. Mrs. Park stood up. Love doesn't matter. Marriage is a business arrangement. It's always been this way. Then why did you marry father? Minjun challenged. Was that arranged too? Mrs. Park froze. Her face changed completely. I married your father because I loved him, she whispered. But his family said I wasn't good enough. I wasn't rich enough. I wasn't connected enough. They made my life hell for 10 years. The room went silent. So you became exactly like them? Minjun asked quietly. You became the monster that tortured you? Mrs. Park collapsed back into her chair. For the first time, Sarah saw her as a human being. A woman who'd been hurt, who'd survived by becoming hard and cruel. I thought I was protecting you, Mrs. Park said, her voice cracking. In this world, you need power. You need status. Love makes you weak. No, Mother, Minjun said gently. Fear makes you weak. And you've been afraid your whole life. If this is giving you chills, smash that subscribe button. This story is about to take another wild turn. Asterisk asterisk. Sarah watched the family unravel before her eyes. This wasn't the revenge she'd planned. She'd wanted to humiliate Mrs. Park, to make her feel small and powerless. But now she felt something unexpected. Compassion. Mrs. Park, Sarah said softly, I understand now. You hurt me because someone hurt you. You controlled your son because you felt controlled. You demanded respect because you never received it. Mrs. Park looked up, tears in her eyes. You couldn't possibly understand. But I do. Sarah insisted. That day at the wedding, you made me feel worthless. I went back to my hotel and cried for hours. I almost gave up on everything. But then I realized something important. Your cruelty said nothing about me. It said everything about your pain. Mrs. Park's voice broke. I don't know how to be any other way. Yuna walked over and knelt beside Mrs. Park's chair. Then let us show you a different way. Please. Minjun joined them. Mother, I don't want to marry Yuna, to merge companies. But I'd like the chance to actually know her. To see if we could choose each other freely. Yuna looked at him, surprised. You would. You seem interesting, Minjun said, almost smiling. And brave? That speech you just gave? That took courage. You're not so bad yourself, Yuna replied, a small smile forming. Standing up to your mother like that? I'm impressed. For the first time, they looked at each other like real people. Sarah's boss cleared his throat. So, what happens with the wedding contract? Everyone turned to Mrs. Park. She sat there, mascara running, her perfect composure shattered. Cancel the wedding, she finally said. Mother! Minjun gasped. Cancel it, Mrs. Park repeated. If you two want to know each other, then take the time. Date. Talk. Be normal people. The business merger can wait. Maybe it shouldn't happen at all. Yuna's father's voice came through the speaker. Park Sun-hee, are you insane? Our companies need this. Then fix your company yourself. Mrs. Park snapped. Stop using your daughter as a bargaining chip. I know what that feels like, and I won't be part of it anymore. Sarah couldn't believe what she was witnessing. Her revenge had transformed into something completely different. Something healing. The aftermath. 2 hours later, Sarah sat in a coffee shop, her head spinning. The meeting had ended with handshakes and tears. Minjun and Yuna had exchanged phone numbers like nervous teenagers. The business merger was postponed. Mrs. Park had actually apologized to her son. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Miss Chen? This is Park Sun-hee. Sarah's heart jumped. Mrs. Park. I need to say something. Mrs. Park's voice was different now, smaller, more human. What I did to you 3 years ago was unforgivable. I was cruel. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. That means more than you know. And Miss Chen, I want to hire you. What? Not for a wedding, Mrs. Park explained. I want you to design a collection. A line of clothing for women who've lost themselves. Women who've been told they're not enough. Women who need to remember they're powerful. Can you do that? Sarah laughed through her tears. Yes. Yes, I can do that. Drop a comment telling us about a time someone underestimated you. We love reading your stories. Asterisk asterisk. Over the next month, Sarah worked with Mrs. Park on the new collection. They called it Phoenix Rising. Every piece told a story of transformation. Minjun and Yuna started dating. Real dating. Coffee shops and movies and long walks. They posted pictures on social media, laughing and relaxed. So different from their formal engagement photos. This is weird, right? Yuna said during one of Sarah's fittings. My arranged marriage fell apart, but now I'm actually falling for the guy. Sarah smiled. Sometimes the universe knows what it's doing. 6 months later, Sarah stood backstage at Seoul Fashion Week, her heart pounding with excitement. The Phoenix Rising collection was about to debut. Models lined up in designs that celebrated strength, vulnerability, transformation. Mrs. Park stood beside her, unrecognizable from the cold woman Sarah had first met. She wore one of Sarah's designs, a powerful suit that blended traditional Korean elements with modern confidence. "Are you nervous?" Mrs. Park asked. "Terrified," Sarah admitted. "What if they hate it?" "Then they hate it," Mrs. Park smiled. "But we know what this collection means. That's what matters." The lights dimmed. Music started. The first model walked out. The audience gasped. The design was stunning, a dress that looked like a phoenix breaking free from ashes. Gold and red fabric flowed like flames. The model walked with fierce confidence. Sarah watched from the wings as model after model showcased her designs. Each piece told a story: the woman who rebuilt herself after divorce, the entrepreneur who started over after failure, the mother who rediscovered her identity, the immigrant who conquered a new country. Every single piece was a love letter to resilience. The finale approached. Sarah had designed something special for this moment. "You're sure about this?" Mrs. Park asked nervously. "Absolutely sure." Sarah squeezed her hand. The final model emerged. But it wasn't a professional model. It was Yuna. She wore the third wedding dress design, the one with the two phoenixes choosing each other freely. The audience erupted. Cameras flashed everywhere. But the show wasn't over. Minjun walked onto the runway. He wore a traditional Korean suit that Sarah had designed to match Yuna's dress. He approached Yuna, took her hand, and got down on one knee. "Kim Yuna," his voice echoed through the venue. "6 months ago, we were strangers forced together. Today, I know your favorite coffee order. I know you sing off-key in the shower. I know you cry at animal videos. I know you're the strongest, kindest, most incredible person I've ever met." Yuna's hands covered her mouth, tears streaming. "Will you marry me?" Minjun asked. "Not because our families want it, not because it makes business sense, but because I choose you, because I love you, because I can't imagine my life without you." "Yes!" Yuna screamed. "Yes, yes, yes." The audience went absolutely crazy. People were standing, cheering, crying. This was more than a fashion show. It was a revolution. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button right now, ***. Sarah felt arms wrap around her. Mrs. Park was hugging her, both of them crying. "Thank you," Mrs. Park whispered. "You saved my family. You saved me. You saved yourself," Sarah replied. "You chose to change. That's the bravest thing anyone can do." After the show, reporters swarmed Sarah. "Miss Chen, this collection is extraordinary. What inspired it?" Sarah thought about her answer carefully. 3 years ago, someone humiliated me. They made me feel small and worthless. I could have let that destroy me. Instead, I let it transform me. This collection is for everyone who's been knocked down, everyone who's been told they're not enough, everyone who chose to rise anyway. "Is it true that Mrs. Park's son He was the one who humiliated you?" another reporter shouted. The crowd went silent. All eyes turned to Sarah and Mrs. Park. Sarah smiled. "Yes, Mrs. Park hurt me deeply, but she's also become one of my greatest collaborators and friends. People can change. People can grow. That's what this entire collection is about." Mrs. Park stepped forward. "I was cruel to Miss Chen. I was wrong. She had every right to destroy me when she had the chance. Instead, she showed me mercy. She showed me who I could become. That's real power. Not money or status or control. Real power is choosing kindness when you could choose revenge." The reporters went wild with questions. That night, Sarah's phone exploded with messages. Her collection was trending worldwide. #PhoenixRising was the #1 hashtag in Korea. Fashion magazines wanted interviews. Celebrities wanted her designs. But the message that meant the most came from an unknown number. "Sarah, this is Ji-won, Park Sun-hee's daughter, the one who got married 3 years ago. My mother told me what she did to you at my wedding. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Thank you for not giving up on our family. Thank you for showing us that change is possible. You're a real phoenix. Sarah cried reading that message. The girl who'd been her friend had never known what happened. 1 year later, Sarah stood in the same wedding hall where she'd been humiliated 4 years earlier. But everything was different now. She wore a custom hanbok she designed herself, modern, powerful, uniquely hers. She was a guest of honor at Minjun and Yuna's real wedding. The ceremony was beautiful. Small and intimate, only 50 guests. Minjun and Yuna had written their own vows. I promise to choose you every single day, Minjun said, his voice thick with emotion. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I promise to grow with you, not just beside you, Yuna replied. To build a partnership based on freedom, respect, and love. When they kissed, the room erupted in applause. At the reception, Mrs. Park approached Sarah with champagne. 4 years ago, I stood in this room and said you didn't belong here, Mrs. Park said quietly. Today, I want to say something different. You belong everywhere, Sarah Chen. You belong in Seoul. You belong in fashion. You belong in our family. Thank you for teaching this old woman that it's never too late to become better. Sarah clinked her glass against Mrs. Park's. Thank you for being willing to learn. They both laughed, then cried, then hugged. Later, as Sarah prepared to leave, Yuna pulled her aside. Sarah, can I ask you something? Anything. When you came back to Korea, were you really just looking for revenge? Sarah thought about it. Honestly, yes. At first, that's all I wanted. But revenge is a funny thing. Sometimes, when you pursue it, you end up finding something better. Healing, growth, family, love. What would you tell someone who's been humiliated like you were? Yuna asked. Sarah smiled. I'd tell them that pain can be a prison or a pathway. You choose. The people who hurt you don't get to write your ending. You do. So write something beautiful. Write something powerful. Write something that makes them wish they treated you better in the first place. If this story inspired you, drop a like and comment telling us your biggest comeback moment. And don't forget to subscribe because we have more incredible true stories coming next week. ***. Sarah walked out of that wedding hall with her head held high, her heart full, her life transformed. She'd come to Korea seeking revenge. Instead, she found something infinitely better. She'd found herself. The girl who'd been humiliated was gone. In her place stood a woman who'd turned pain into power, cruelty into creativity, and revenge into redemption. And that was the greatest victory of all. The end. Don't leave yet. Click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next incredible story. Comment below, Team Revenge or Team Redemption. We'll feature the best comments in our next video. See you in the next